Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxborough Central. I am Bob Hickey, I am your host, and I am so glad that you're taking the time to join with me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. Now, when we talk about Foxborough, we're really talking about every small town, every community. In Foxborough, we're blessed, and I'll admit I'm a little biased, we're blessed that we have live performing arts theater, the Orpheum, which is now the MARILYN RODMAN Performing Arts Center. I'm the executive director there. This isn't a plug for me, but what it is a plug for the arts. And I said from the very beginning that every live theater has to have a nutcracker, and blessedly we do have our own nutcracker, not one that comes in from out of town, but one of our very own. I'd like to introduce you to my guest tonight, KEDDY, who is the director, president, owner, teacher of the Foxborough Classical Ballet Academy. How are you doing, Eve?
Great, I'm so glad to be here. We're so excited.
We're glad to have you, and I see that you've brought a couple of friends with you. Who might we have?
I'm Mia. And I'm Addie.
And Mia and Addie, of course, have last names. That would be Mia Reese and Addie Hayden. But of course, they're maybe going under the idea that once you become a famous dancer, you go by a single name. So we're going to use their stage names today, Mia and Addie. Mia, of course, is a student at Foxborough High School, so you live here in town, and Addie, you go to the Ahern Middle School, correct? Fantastic. It's great to have you here, and it's great to have you here. Eve also is on our board of directors at the theater, so she is, as they say, all in. You're also a business owner with the Primerica.
No, it's Ameriprise Financial down at the corner.
Okay.
Yep, in the building that my parents used to have a Rexall drugstore in for 35 years, and I'm still there. Been there since I was 2 days old.
Well, and you know, your history, of course, with the arts goes back even beyond that. Your mother was Jackie O'Reilly, with the green building here that you now own on the corner here in beautiful downtown Foxborough on the Common. And she, her picture now hangs at the theater, but it also hung at Town Hall for many decades. Give us a quick history, and that'll lead us right into the ballet.
Yep. Well, when we were little, my sister and I, Ellen, who also teaches at the school with me, my mother would drive us into Boston Ballet every single day from the time my sister was 12 and I was probably 4. So we were at Boston Ballet from the very, very beginning of Boston Ballet, and my mother was one of those mothers that would be sewing costumes and doing mailings at the very beginning of the company, which is probably 55 years ago at this point. And then in the mid-70s, my mother had this idea. She had learned that in Australia, that big, beautiful opera house in Sydney had been funded with lottery money. And at that time, Massachusetts had come up with a state lottery. And so she partnered up with some people from Harvard Business School and with Billy Bulger and the government to have the lottery fund the arts in Massachusetts. So she went around to every single town in Massachusetts and set up the Arts Lottery Councils, which is now the
cultural councils.
The cultural councils in every town. So every town still gets money from the lottery. So you know, any artistic organization in any town can submit an application to be able to get some funds from that, which was started by my mother.
And it's an amazing legacy because each community does receive an allocation, and I know in Foxborough it's a very robust committee, but it's a volunteer committee. It's part of town government. It's not a difficult process to go through. So anybody who is in the arts performing, and arts is a very liberal term because what you might find beautiful, you may not understand, but that doesn't mean it's not worthy and doesn't worth having an opportunity to be presented. So the cultural councils have a great it's a great thing, and you know, having been in a big company like Boston Ballet, it certainly wasn't as big as it is today, but you know, every little town also had its own arts organization. So, you know, at the time everybody was feeling all the money was going to Boston Ballet or the Symphony, and so that she thought it was a great idea to be able to have every little town get it. Sure.
So, so my sister and I were at Boston Ballet all those years. I didn't become a professional dancer when I went to college. I went to college, And my sister continued to dance. She became a pharmacist because our parents made sure we had college educations. And they didn't want us to think that ballet was going to be a career, because that's probably not always the best idea. And so for all those years, and I've lived in Foxborough all these years. My daughter grew up here, and I went to Foxborough High School, and she went to Foxborough High School. And all those years, I really wanted to have a ballet school because I had the skill that I really wanted to bring to Foxborough. And I built my career, I built my family, and then finally one day I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And at the time, I opened it over where Judy's is, the yellow building right next to the Orpheum.
Yeah.
And it was just 6 kids in a little 8x10 room, and I said, and the reason I picked that was because it was right next door to the Orpheum. And I thought, this is fantastic. We have a studio, and then we can use this theater. And then the Orpheum kind of disappeared for a while. But, the school continued to grow, and we moved to another room.
I was going to say, you moved to, and by the way, we're talking with Eve KEDDY, who is the director of the Foxborough Classic Ballet, and their web address is www.foxboroughballet.com. Foxborough spelled the company way, O-R-O. They're located at 14 Church Street, which is where we're going to go with this, and their telephone number is 508-954-1491. So you started off here on the Common on School Street.
We went to this 8x10 room, and then we moved to maybe a 10x30 room.
And then the Knights of Columbus.
And well, one day, my sister, we really needed a bigger space.
Sure.
And they just don't make spaces, big open spaces anymore.
No, they don't.
And my sister one day just happened to be driving by, and she called me up. She says, "You're not going to believe this. The Knights of Columbus Hall is for sale." Of course, she said to me, "You need to go buy it." And I'm like, "Well, since I own this old building, what the heck, right?" So so 2 years ago, we moved the school over to the old Knights of Columbus Hall. Beautiful space, isn't it fantastic? Have a nice giant studio in there. And now, after 7 years of the school, we have probably 80 to 85 kids in the school. So, and the thing about Nutcracker is, when we first did Nutcracker, we'd have to do auditions and try to get kids from other towns and everything, but eventually what I wanted to have it all done in-house, good quality control. The kids are there for rehearsals and everything, and that's at the point we're at. And we were there last year, and now we have even more kids, and so now we're adding a 4th performance this year, which is fantastic.
Well, you're speaking, and of course, I think we're getting towards team building and creating your brand. And I know that your website is beautiful to look at, but I'd really like to talk to you two and just talk about the school. As we do that, you did mention that the Nutcracker was at the what was then the Orpheum Theater, what is now the MARILYN RODMAN Performing Arts Center. And this year we have performances on Friday, December 14th, Saturday, December 15th, 2 performances, a matinee and a nighttime show, as well as Sunday, December 16th. So 4 performances of the Nutcracker. And you were both in the Nutcracker last year, were you not, Mia and Addie?
Yes, we were.
And it was emotionally beautiful. It was magical.
Thank you.
Thank you, because it was truly one of those. I don't know. You tell me, but
well, I'll tell you.
I was just so impressed.
The interesting thing about Nutcracker, and I think what surprised a lot of people that came, they're thinking Foxborough, Orpheum, but what our Nutcracker is when my sister and I were at Boston Ballet, this is the original Boston Ballet production. This is the same dances we did when we were there. So the dances are very difficult, and our students, our students that have been there for a long time, the older girls are really, really good. And so, so when people come, they're shocked. It's like a real Nutcracker. So why spend $100 a ticket to go to Boston where you can spend 20 or 22 here, and it's the same thing?
Well, it's a fantastic value, but more than that, it was truly a beautiful production. So, Mia, you are a soloist.
Yes.
And Mia Reese is a soloist, and you do more than I see you're dressed, and thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody loves costumes, so it's beautiful. So tell us a little bit about why you became a ballerina and what you do.
So I started dancing when I was about 3 years old, and then I loved it so much that I wanted to be more serious about it. So I moved to Foxborough Classical Ballet, and I've been there for about 6 years now, and I've done 4 Nutcrackers. And it's really cool because you get to dance with all your best friends on stage, and it's a really fun community project, and it's really fun.
Speaking of the team building, because you do form friendships, and
So many
it's
friendships.
Oh, my best friends are still old ballet friends.
Really?
I mean, that's so true, especially at Nutcracker time. They're there for 6 hours. Well, on Saturdays, some of the girls come to class at 9 and they stay for the 10, and then they take the 11:15 class. They've danced already for 4.5, 5 hours by the time rehearsals even begin, and then they have 4 hours worth of rehearsals after that. So they've all so close, and they just love to be there, and I love to watch them there, and it's fantastic.
so it's commitment,
Yes.
but it's something that you love doing.
Yes, it's a big commitment, but it's worth it.
Yeah, is it?
It definitely is. You
So-
build so many good friendships, and it's fun.
And what grade are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
Okay, so
And
you.
Mia is a gorgeous dancer. And she, this summer, she went and danced the summer intensive at American Ballet Theater in New York City, which is
Really?
a very big deal. She's a beautiful, beautiful dancer.
you.
Oh my goodness, we're going to have to come back and talk to you a little bit more. And we're also going to talk to your friend, Addie. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for asking. And you're also in costume. And what is our role in the Nutcracker?
I am Clara.
You are our Clara this year. Outstanding.
Yeah.
I should have asked that before the show.
Addie was born to be Clara. So, I mean, she is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And Mia has been Clara, too.
Well, I'm going to give you a secret. Have you been in the theater lately?
No, not lately.
I already have a Nutcracker standing guard. I got one during a summer production. I wouldn't let him go away because I said I need him for my Nutcrackers. So we're ready for you whenever you're ready for us.
All right.
So a natural Clara, why Clara?
Well, I've always.
Is it true that it's every girl's dream to be Clara?
I guess
Okay,
so,
I don't
yeah.
want to, I know it's cliche and I'm asking it seriously because I also know that it's a tough role. It's also, you're on stage the entire time. So what is the Clara role to you?
Well, it's an honor, and I've always wanted to be it, and I'm so excited
Excellent.
to learn it.
Fantastic.
She's fantastic?
Fantastic.
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 You're fantastic. Did you know that? Yeah? Okay, good. So, of course, I'm speaking with Addie and Mia, who are dancers in the Nutcracker with the Foxborough Classical Ballet. Eve Keddy, who is the president.
Director.
I'm going to call you everything. Instructor,
I-
teacher, director.
Oh, yeah, I'm the janitor.
Well,
I'm everything.
that's because you
yeah.
own the business, right?
That's true.
right.
That's what happens.
That's the way it works, and it's a good thing. They're located at the Old Knights of Columbus Hall across from St. Mary's here in Foxborough on Church Street. It's a wonderful, wonderful school, one that I think if you're into ballet, and I guess I'll ask you some technical questions, do you learn things there or you just come in there and fiddle around?
Oh, you learn so much.
Yeah.
You gain like so much knowledge and technique.
And is this setting you up for a future? Is this a stepping stone type place?
Definitely. I
Or?
wouldn't have been able to do like the things I have without the like education that Eve and Ellen have given me. They definitely set you up to go to
That's
other
wonderful.
places.
So tell us about New York.
So I was there for about 5 weeks, and it was intense training, but it was like the stepping stones that I had from Eve and Ellen, and it was just really intense, but it was really fun. You meet a lot of friends there again, but yeah.
That's amazing. So how difficult is it to get invited to that?
Oh, very difficult.
She's kind of
She had to
downplaying it
audition.
here.
Yeah,
but,
totally. Yeah, very, very difficult. I mean, only the best dancers of her age, probably, what do you say, 14 to 18 maybe in your
Yeah,
group?
around that.
They audition and they take very few compared to how many people. So it's a huge honor, and you know, she did really, really well there. And there was a big difference when she came back. She was great when she left, but she was even greater when she came back.
And now we're going to see it on the stage with the Nutcracker.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, tell us, Addie, are there other productions that you do during the year, or is it just Nutcracker?
Well, she goes to another school too, so she
You do?
does other
I do.
things. Yeah, she does other types of dancing.
How do you have time for anything else?
Well, I go to Foxborough Ballet on Fridays, Saturdays, and sometimes Sundays.
Okay.
And on all the other days, I go to my other studio and I train in ballet and also a bunch of other styles.
So you like dancing.
I love to
You
dance.
love to dance. That's
She-
wonderful.
she-
And we're blessed to have you then, because it sounds like you're in
Yeah,
demand.
she is definitely, she's a well-rounded dancer. I mean, classical dancers are a certain style, you know, and it's very difficult for a dancer, say, and this has happened to me, obviously, you try to take a jazz class or something, and you just can't do it. You just don't get it. But Addie is so well-rounded, she can do every type of dance.
Really?
Yeah, she's
Wow.
perfect.
So, and I know that we are splicing in some pictures and perhaps some video with this show, but I want to remind everybody right now that we're talking to Eve KEDDY, who is the director of the Foxborough Classical Ballet, and Mia Reese and Addie Hayden, who are Foxborough residents and dancers. They are also going to be on our stage at the MARILYN RODMAN Performing Arts Center on Friday, December 14th for a 7:30 show on 2 shows on December the 15th, a matinee as well as a nighttime show, and then a closing matinee on Sunday, December 16th. And if I remember correctly, last year it snowed during the intermission, and it was magical on the stage, and then it was magical
Yes,
afterwards.
it was. We walked out and it was a winter wonder. It was
It was
amazing.
beautiful. It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
great.
It's going to be beautiful again this year because I do believe that the snow might be happening.
On
We
the
might
stage.
have to cut a hole in the roof and let the snow come in
Well,
on
we
the
have
stage.
we have a snow machine,
We
so
have
we
a
do
snow-
have, and a growing tree and all that fun
Well,
stuff.
I will say, you know, you bring up something that, and I'll just mention www.orpheum.org. Tickets will be on sale soon. You can also call the box office at 508-543-2787, or you can go direct to brownpapertickets.com. So we're kind of joking, but the stage, and they say any stage can be transformed, but I think the stage at the theater here in Foxborough lends itself to exactly this. And you've been a tremendous support, not only on the board of directors and one of the leaders there, but you helped out with some infrastructure. We have a beautiful floor now through your generosity. We have some side curtains that really help with the atmosphere. But the theater itself has great bones, and that goes back to Neil and Linda Colvin back in the 93, 94 era, where they installed the lights and the lifts and the drops and the rollers, and some of the improvements that we made since with some of the background and whatnot. But
the years that the Orpheum wasn't available, we ended up going to Norton High School, and you just can't find a theater with all that available. I mean, it's like if the stage were 3 times as big, it would be, you know, like someplace in Boston, you know, so it's a local place and it's great. And so, you know, we got a new floor to put down because dancing can't, you know, it's a very particular type of floor that they need. So we, you know, we contributed that to the theater.
You taught me. I learned how to install a Marley floor. So when you
that's
see her,
really
say, "Hey, this
important.
guy right here. This is that guy."
Yeah, because when I told these kids we're going back to the Orpheum, they're like, "The floor." I'm like, "I gotta cover. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it." But yeah, so we love being there, and then we got, you know, snow that really falls. Sometimes,
Snow falls, the tree rises, it lights.
The tree that grows, the tree looks. We've been watching the video in order to learn the new roles, and actually, I should mention, she's in Snowflakes, but she's also doing Dewdrop, which is the lead in Waltz of the Flowers, which is great. And
looking forward to it then.
so we've been watching the video. I don't know if it's called a video anymore, whatever, the DVD. And we're like, "God, that was really good, and that tree looks so good, and that looks so good." And so it's a great production. It's really fantastic.
Well, we're looking forward to having you back again this year, and of course, Foxborough Cable Access videotapes these as well as they do many of the events that happen in Foxborough. And I suppose this is a Foxborough event, and it's something that I feel is very special, and we're so happy to have it here in Foxborough. Remind everybody that we're talking about the Nutcracker, which is going to be appearing at the MARILYN RODMAN Performing Arts Center on December 14th, 15th for 2 shows, and the 16th. So 4 shows total. There are only 396 seats there, so it is important to get your tickets and get them early, because we did have some sellouts last year. The important thing also to understand is that this is live performing arts, and that to do that you have to support the schools that are bringing this to the table, because dancing is not a fly-by-night hobby, and it's also expensive, is it not?
It's expensive.
And that's why we do these performances, to offset some of the costs, right?
Yeah.
So with your experience, where do you see your future being in dance? I just love talking to performers, because it's something that I can't do. And for those of you who are blessed and put in the talent and the time and develop yourselves and create your own skill set, it's something that somebody like me will never have that opportunity. So I love talking to performers who can do this and can bring joy to others through their hard work. So what do you like the most about dancing, and where do you think you're going to go with this?
I love dancing because you get to dance with your best friends, like I said, but it's also, you're never going to reach one goal. You can always be better than you were yesterday. And I would love to either dance in college or maybe think of a profession in dance, but for now I'm just focusing on the Nutcracker.
Well, I'm hoping someday she'll own Foxborough Ballet
Yeah, I'll
Academy.
take it over.
That's really my goal.
Yeah, I'll do that. That's my goal.
Or you could have a theater.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. And how about you? I know we're a little early in life. You know, probably we're not focused on your retirement plans yet.
No,
but,
not yet.
But what's your short-term thing?
Well,
Since you seem to dance 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Probably 8 days if there were 8.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I hope to never stop dancing if I can, and just to keep learning more and
You know, that's so true. That's such a good point you just made. I mean, my sister's 70. She teaches class like 5 days a week. She looks like she's 40.
You and your sister are both very athletic.
Well, you know, we hadn't danced. We hadn't done anything in that realm for 30 years. And it's like brought us back to life. There's a purpose because these kids and, you know,
you were out of this
around.
for 30 years? You were out of dancing for 30 years?
Absolutely nothing. Yep.
You're kidding.
Yeah, nothing. When I opened the school, I said to someone 7 years ago, I really want to have a dancing school, but I haven't done it. And they're like, just go do it. And that day I went and rented that spot. It was just like, and we had nothing to do with it. Ellen would go and teach, my sister also does Isadora Duncan dancing, which is a whole other show. But, and she would go teach around some schools, but she was a pharmacist and, you know, had a family and everything.
Sure.
So we had done nothing to do with ballet at all for 30 years.
Amazing.
And, you know, and as far as our school goes, you know, you said it's expensive, but we've had kids that were good enough to go to Boston Ballet, but then they end up coming back to us because why commute into Boston, probably pay 3 times as much, and trust me, the prices of our school are pretty low compared to some of those. And, you know, so it's so convenient, and the training is as good as you're going to get at Boston Ballet. I mean, you know, and that's the other thing, when I open the school and I think of how many years or generations, I guess I'm that old, of kids did not benefit from this school. And now I look at these kids that have, Mia was probably one of my first students. So, you know, you see where she has come and how many kids didn't, and I feel kind of guilty about it, didn't have that opportunity. And, you know, hopefully I'll do it till I'm 100, I guess. But
they say the right thing happens whenever it happens.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But, you know, when I started the school, I had a whole different, let's say, mission statement for the school, because, you know, all these schools, and we've had some teachers in the school that have told people, oh, you'll become a ballerina, just do what I say. But my sister and I both went to college. Very strongly do we say, my goal always for the school was for the students to be the best dancer in the dance department at their college, not to have false dreams of being a ballerina somewhere, because ballet is so structured. And with the classical music and the structure of it all, the academics benefits from all that. I mean, I ended up going to Harvard, and you know, I don't think I would have if I didn't have that structure.
Harvard, which was also built on lottery receipts.
True.
Back in the day.
That's true. Although I think
Take
they let
that for
me
your
in.
history lesson.
Yeah.
I think they let me in just to be in the dance department, which I never did. But you know, it was, you know. But anyway,
Eve,
so
it is always a pleasure talking to you, and
we could talk all day.
Well, we could, and I just share that this conversation is real. I don't know these things, and that's why I love doing this program, and I'm really happy that you're here with us. And unfortunately, we're wrapping up quickly to the end of our time together, so I'm going to take a quick round about the table to give these 3 wonderful dancers and future past, current stars their time. But I want to remind everybody that the Nutcracker is coming back to the MARILYN Rodman Performing Arts Center this December. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to snow a little. Clara will be discovering with the eyes of wonder from a child the wonders of the Nutcracker. And all that goes along with this, the ceremony, the pomp, the dance, the joy, the beauty, the wonder, the music, the dance. I said that again, didn't I?
Yes. Lots of
dancing.
It's all about the dance, lots of dancing. So the shows are going to be on December 14th, that Friday, the 15th, 2 shows, and on December 16th. You can get tickets through the Brown Paper Tickets site, brownpapertickets.com, or you can go through the link at the Orpheum site, www.orpheum.org. It's also www.MARILYNRodmanPerformingArtsCenter.org. That's a lot of words to type. They both get you to the same place. You can also call the box office at 508-543-ARTS. That's 543-2787. We are so looking forward to having you all. We're going to give everybody a last word, but you go first.
Well, It was great to be here and talk to you, and I had so much fun doing it.
Well, Addie, thank you so much, Addie, for joining us. We can't wait to see you on stage. Cannot wait to see you be our Clara.
Thank you.
Same with Addie, but also if anybody wants to join the ballet school, that'd be great. Or if anybody wants to come see the Nutcracker, join the magic with us.
Join the magic. So let me ask you this real quick from a, you can go smoke a cigarette or something, because we're gonna talk just you and me, all right? Just us.
Okay.
All right. So it's not PC. Go have a coffee. Go get a cup of coffee. Go get a latte. So why would people join the Ballet Academy here?
You learn so much, and even if you don't become a professional or go for it in the future, you make such good friends. You learn discipline, which is hard to learn, and I learned it throughout dance. And you just learn life lessons that it's hard to learn other places, and it changes your life, really.
Wow, and you keep mentioning the friends that you make.
It's so important. It changes it,
It makes them want to come to class.
Yes, it's the motivation to come to class.
That's wonderful. But it is hard work.
Yeah. It's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of, but it's well worth it in the end, right? Yes. Excellent, Mia and Addie. Thank you so much, Eve.
And just one thing, as far as the school goes, we start kids at 6 years old, and we have students up to 80, and we have classes 7 days a week, depending on their level. And I always I recommend that everybody just come and try a free class and see if you like it. It's not for everybody. Some people would rather do more of a recreational type dance or another type of dance. But, if you have a child who dreams of being a ballerina, I mean, we'll know within 30 seconds if this is for her or him. We do have some boys. So, bring your kids over and try a class. And I do have a class just for moms. Moms of the students get to take class for free.
Really?
So, yeah, on Saturday.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Eve Keddy, director of the Foxborough Classical Ballet, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Addie and Mia, and to everybody here who is a fan of dance. You're going to want to come out and see the Nutcracker in December on the 14th, 15th, and 16th at the MARILYN RODMAN Performing Arts Center. Eve Keddy, Mia Reese, and Addie Hayden, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
And it was wonderful, and it's going to be wonderful seeing you on our stage. I also want to thank our volunteers here at Foxborough Cable Access who have helped put this on tonight. Our new camera operators, Adiola Oflakum. Thank you, Olafikum and Alex Peary. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Of course, Paul Beck is behind the glass. Lauren Bertar gets us programmed. Mike Weber makes sure she does. And I'm Bob Hickey, your host. We're so out of time. Have a great day, Foxborough. Take care.